Okay, this is a way different start than this video is supposed to have, but something has happened in between finishing the video and actually uploading it, so I just want to add this in and talk about this for a second. So, there was a person who was commenting on the last Pragmata video. This is them right here. I'm not going to show any names because their ego is obviously big enough, posting 6 different comments on that video. It's like, okay, come on, chill out. But they had a lot to say about why I was wrong about the things I said in that last video. So, as I said, 6 different comments from the same person. They were saying that the game was getting updates every 2 weeks, every 3 weeks, and I was checking. There has been no updates. I don't know where this person's been getting their like bi-weekly updates, but I think they're getting wrong information. The next thing I want to say is they have commented multiple times that the game has a early 2024 release window, or 2024 at the earliest. I don't know, but 2024 has not been said at all. The next thing they've said is that there has been no word of the game being shelved. That is true, but they also said that there's no word of the game being indefinitely delayed, which is wrong. If you look up Pragmata delay, you'll see 10 different articles about why the game has been delayed. So I went to the Pragmata game Twitter or X or whatever. There was no updates since June of 2023. Next, I went to the Capcom Twitter. There has been no updates since June of 2023, at least on Pragmata specifically. I went to the Pragmata wiki page. There are no updates there. There's no update on the PlayStation Pragmata page or the Xbox Pragmata page. There is no updates anywhere. If you look up Pragmata, if you look up Pragmata 2024, if you look up Pragmata release, if you look up Pragmata in general, the majority of things you will find is things we already know or things about the indefinite delay. So this person saying my video is cool. This person saying I did not research properly. This person saying my video is clickbait. I just want to say, you are wrong if you are watching this on every single thing you commented, so maybe chill out on these 6 comments and you research properly first. So I just wanted to say that before getting into today's video, so let's get right into things. Well, I didn't think I'd be getting back to Pragmata so freaking soon, especially with absolutely no new info on the game, but hey, we're here and talking about Pragmata once more. So for those of you who don't know, I posted a video about Pragmata a couple of months ago talking about my thoughts on the elusive game and what we had seen at the time, along with the possibility of the game being shelved. And I have to say, some of you really did not agree with some of the things I said, such as the main point of that whole last video being that I think the game was shelved. Well, in this video, I thought I would take a chance to explain myself, and maybe show some of you my own point of view and why I think Pragmata has been placed on the shelf. Hopping into that blaring first thing, that being Pragmata getting shelved, or not, because I have been getting my fair share of comments stating very clearly that the game is not shelved, as Capcom hasn't directly came out and said that they've shelved Pragmata. And that is something that I do admit is missing from that last video, that we have not gotten true word of the game on the shelf. So I'll say now, I was completely wrong there. But let me explain myself a little bit, as I feel like I did not speak my piece well enough, and I did miss some details, and I think there were a few of you that slightly misunderstood some of the things I said. So getting into that first thing, that being why exactly I said and still think Pragmata has hit the same fate as so many other games. Looking back at what Capcom has already told us, which is not that much in the long run, we know that the game was delayed from 2022 to 2023, then it was indefinitely delayed. And we got that apology from Capcom themselves that at the current moment in time, they have physically told us that they themselves have no clue when the game will be releasing. Now with that in mind, what exactly constitutes a game as shelved? So a shelved game is a game that's been put aside for the meantime while developers work on other projects. In doing this, the game loses an estimated release date and spends its time in a development limbo. But that doesn't mean the game is gone. There is a difference between shelved and cancelled, so just keep that in mind. Looking now to Pragmata and Capcom though, from what I can tell, Capcom has started focusing their sights on other projects. Circling back to the 2023 Capcom showcase in June of last year, not only did we get the announcement of Pragmata's indefinite delay, but we also got the announcements of like 2 or 3 other games. Therefore, the game has been delayed until further notice, while Capcom works on other things. Sound like anything? Well, then for the past half year roughly, we've been left in silence. Honestly, other than that one trailer specifically telling us that we're not getting the game anytime soon, as some of you did point out, the word shelved was never used in reference to Pragmata, and I admit that I fully based that claim off assumptions that I got from what we have seen and what we know. And I do want to point out as well that Pragmata was supposed to be released in 2022. In its absence though, Capcom has released multiple games, some big examples being Resident Evil 4 and Street Fighter 6, having to have been worked on during the same time as Pragmata supposedly was. But, again, all in all, there are some counterpoints to a couple of the things that I have said, and some things that I never actually thought about in the last video. First being that even though Capcom has been working hard on other projects, the company itself is quite large, and there's more than just one team of developers working on one project at a time. Plus, they actually did tell us that Pragmata fully has its own team of developers behind it. Not only that, new developers that might need a little more time. Also, we heard from Capcom that the game is delayed indefinitely, but the developers are still hard at work on it. Then again, that was a while ago, and we have been left in silence since. On to the next counterpoint, that being that Capcom did announce their next major addition to their catalog arriving hopefully by March of 2024, so this year. Now, they haven't told us exactly what they're cooking up over at Capcom, but who knows, maybe this is the year that we finally see Pragmata's release. I don't want to say anything that I might want to take back later though. Moving on now, I just want to clear some things up about the things some of you seem to take away from the last video. A whole lot of the comments thought either shelved meant that the game was cancelled and never to see the light of day, or maybe that I was saying that the fate of Pragmata is that it's never going to see the light of day. Well, neither of those things are the case, as I have already went over that shelving is not always permanent. But I tried to make it as clear as possible that I know there will most likely be a day that we see Pragmata. The next thing I have to defend myself in saying is that I remember seeing a whole article using the word shelved multiple times, but I guess it's only convenient that I can't find the article now. But then also seeing all of the different articles referring to the game as indefinitely delayed, seeing Capcom's other games being released, I mean, it's not crazy for me to assume that the game has at least been shelved in secret. Also looking at the comments of my last video, someone mentioned another Capcom game by the name of Deep Down, looking like a Resident Evil style fantasy Souls-like, and it was set to release exclusively on the PS4 in 2013. After a very similar development hell, and right on the cusp of being finished, Deep Down is now considered vaporware and has been left alone in what seems to be the same silence that Pragmata sits in now. And though Capcom hasn't directly cancelled the game or specifically said that the game was shelved, I would say that after 10 years of silence, Deep Down is at least indirectly shelved. And not only Deep Down, Capcom has put a few of its IPs on the shelf the past while, putting focus on other games, such as the Breath of Fire series, with Capcom saying they have no plans on bringing it back. But with all of that said, who knows in the long run? I admit that Pragmata might not be shelved, but this indefinite delay definitely does not bode well. You know, all in all, maybe I did end up speaking too soon in the last video, and we might end up hearing word of the game's release in no time, but I still say, don't hold your breath. Then again, even if the game is shelved, that does not mean it's lost. Just lost for now. And as I did point out, Capcom has let us know that they are apparently still working on this awesome looking entry, so I don't want to upset anyone with this vid or choke on my words later, so I will just leave this video with this. Everything is in the air when it comes to Pragmata. Maybe the game is not shelved and we hear word soon, but we also have no idea when it would be coming, or even if it is coming in the long run. But I want to say that I'm still on my toes for the release of this game, and you already know that I will be right there when we do end up getting our hands on Pragmata. But if Pragmata still sounds interesting to you, or even if you still have some words about what I said in this video, then let me know any of your thoughts in the comments now. And if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more like it, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to stay up to date on everything to come. If you want to support the channel in longer deep dive videos, which I've got a few cooking up, along with getting your name at the end of every video and some videos a couple hours early, check out a membership to the channel now by pressing that little join button below. And lastly, if you heard any music that you liked and you want to hear more, head on over to Billy the Whip on any music platform now. And to wrap this shorter side vid up, I thank you all so much for tuning in, and I hope you all have a great day.
Pennies feeling wise, but I'm just clowning it. Thought the game could float, but now I'm just drowning it. Floundering, feel like I'm fumbling, least I'm not mumbling, stumbling, stanzas crumbling, bass be rumbling, everything tumbling, it's so humbling.